What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about Shipment in Modern Warfare 2 and compare it to many of the previous versions of Shipment that we've had in Call of Duty, because I've seen some people making claims that this map is noticeably bigger than previous Shipment maps out there, and that they've made certain changes to this that weren't present in previous maps. So let's have a look at the evolution of Shipment, and we're going to start this off with CoD 4, or Modern Warfare Remastered, which is what you're seeing the footage from here. This was the original Shipment map. And with this, there's not a ton to say aside from the fact that we have these angled containers, which really help them with managing spawns to the best of their ability with a small map like this. And also on this map, you can't jump on anything, basically. You can't get on any of the containers. You can't even get on top of the barrels, for instance, at least in many areas. So it's a pretty basic, bare bones version of Shipment. Next, we're going to jump all the way forward to CoD World War II. I do realize in CoD Ghosts, we had sort of a version of Shipment, but it also had a huge playable area outside of the regular Shipment map, and therefore I don't even really think it's comparable at all to this, so it's not even going to be included in today's video. But with CoD World War II, we've got a totally different look and feel here. And with this, it's honestly not a whole lot different from the original CoD 4 Shipment. There's a few different pieces of cover, like instead of broken down cars and barrels, for instance, we just got some slightly different styles of cover toward the corner. But we still have those angled containers, and for the most part, this is basically the exact same sort of Shipment experience that we had in CoD 4 or Modern Warfare Remastered. However, one last important note here is, at least in my opinion, this version of Shipment had the best spawns out of any of them. And I mean, you're never going to get spawns perfect on a tiny map like this with 6v6, but in my opinion, this version of Shipment had the best spawns out of all of them. Next, let's jump forward to Modern Warfare 2019, and this, in my opinion, is the absolute worst version of Shipment we've ever had. Not only were the spawns just awful, but they also added the ability to jump on top of the crates here, which I think was like a neat gimmick at first, but then over time, I feel like it really just opened up too many potential sightlines, and it made spawns far more difficult to control. Additionally, those angled containers I've mentioned a couple times now, they took that angle away, and what this does is it creates a corner-to-corner line of sight, and it eliminates so many of the potential safe spawn locations that we had in previous versions of Shipment. Now, I realize this is a very popular map for camo grinders, as well as just certain people that like just non-stop mindless chaos. But in my opinion, Infinity Ward really dropped the ball with this version of Shipment, and it could have been so much better than it was if they just stuck to the original layout with those angled containers. After that, we have Call of Duty Vanguard, and with Vanguard, they at least fixed those angled containers. They brought them back, so we had no more corner-to-corner lines of sight. However, they took the verticality to the next level. So with this one, they added a bunch of new areas that you can get on top of, a bunch of little destructible walls and areas as well. And while this did provide some more options for certain like flank routes and stuff on Shipment, once again, I do feel like this made spawns far more tricky to balance because it was just so easy to gain a bunch of new sight lines by getting on top of these containers. So while I think this is at least a little bit better than 2019, it's still not my preferred style of Shipment. And this brings us to present day with Modern Warfare 2. And with this, the first thing I noticed is we once again have those angled containers, so that's a massive improvement already over Modern Warfare 2019 in my opinion. Next, they also reverted the verticality on this map so you can no longer get on top of the shipping containers. Now, it's not quite as punishing as it was with the original Shipment where you couldn't jump on anything. You can still jump on any of the pieces of cover that are on the corners of the map. But there's just no more getting on top of those containers and opening up a bunch of crazy unintended sightlines to mess with spawns. Additionally, a lot of people have been mentioning that this map is noticeably bigger than previous versions of Shipment, and I wanted to actually check that for myself because I had the suspicion that what was actually happening here is console players finally have an FOV slider, and since they're able to increase that FOV, it does tend to make things look bigger, or objects in the distance appear farther away than they are if you have a lower field of view. And so I wanted to go back and put this to the test to see if they actually made this map bigger compared to previous Call of Duty games. And unfortunately, I only have really accurate measuring techniques for Vanguard and Modern Warfare 2019, as well as, of course, Modern Warfare 2. And as we can see here, with Call of Duty Vanguard, Shipment was 35 meters by 37 meters, so it wasn't actually a perfect square. Whereas Modern Warfare 2019 Shipment was actually a little bit smaller at 33 by 34 meters. So again, not quite a perfect square and a little bit more compressed than the Vanguard version. Whereas in Modern Warfare 2, we do have a perfect square at 35 meters by 35 meters. So technically slightly smaller than the shipment in Vanguard, at least when it comes to one of the dimensions, and also a little bit bigger overall compared to Modern Warfare 2019, but not by like a really large margin. This is a very, very small difference. But perhaps that small difference really is noticeable when we're looking at an already small map. In all though, when it comes to my thoughts on the brand new Modern Warfare 2 version of Shipment, I think this is definitely the best shipment we've had in years, and they've corrected a lot of the issues that they've been introducing with the different iterations of Shipment over the years. I like that they returned much more to a traditional style where you can't jump on the crates and you have those angled containers that allow for some safer spawn points, or at least cut off some lines of sight so you can at least somewhat limit the number of times you watch somebody spawn in your sights. And while I'm personally not the biggest fan of Shipment outside of maybe just wanting to blast through some camos or weapon leveling really quickly, I've got to say so far this is the most enjoyable version of Shipment that I've played in many years. I would say since CoD WWII actually. That's the last time that I at least had some reasonable enjoyment out of a Shipment map. And I think it just goes a long way to keep things simple with Shipment, because the more you complicate things, the harder it gets to balance spawns on a map that's already incredibly difficult to balance spawns on because it's so ridiculously small. So basically in this video, I just wanted to say good job on Infinity Ward for recognizing the flaws that they introduced with their recent version of Shipment, as well as the flaws that were in Vanguard's version of Shipment. They've effectively just fixed all of those issues, and we've got a real true Shipment experience again, and I'm just loving that. Now, having said that, I do feel like there is one fairly big issue right now that I do think needs to be addressed across the board. This is friendly player collision. And this is something I never really noticed on the other maps in the game. It was never really much of an issue, but on Shipment specifically, it is really annoying. If you spawn inside one of those containers and you have a teammate that's sort of like camping on the entrance to that container, it can be a bit annoying trying to get by them sometimes. You get blocked, and even if it just slows you down a little bit, things are happening so fast on Shipment that it's just frustrating. So I hope that's something they can take care of, and that's not really inherently the map's problem, but it's something they have adjusted in the past with Call of Duty, so I suspect they should be able to make an adjustment there, and I hope they do in the future. But overall, great job on Shipment this year. I'm definitely going to be playing it from time to time for certain camo challenges, or like I said, if I really need to blast through weapon levels really quickly, I will actually be playing Shipment this time around. But as far as my regular gameplay goes, I'm still going to be avoiding this because I just like a little bit more big picture to my gameplay. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts on this new version of Shipment, and I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about it so far in the comments down below. Do you like the fact that they've kept things a lot more simple this time around by preventing you from jumping on the crates, and also by re-angling those containers for the safe spawns? Or did you prefer one of the previous versions of Shipment, like Modern Warfare 2019 or Vanguard, where you can get on top of those crates? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.